Here we are with another episode of The Geek Out. This is episode number 16. And I used to always throw up my hands and I gave up because I got too many digits, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw up 5 and we'll just let everybody else add in there. So we got 15. We need one more. There's Kiefer. So episode number 16, that was really geeky. So I think that fits right into The Geek Out. But this is the last and final episode, it looks like, of The Geek Out. Unfortunately, we're getting kicked off the air because, well, nobody's really watching. So nobody's commenting and giving ideas or anything like that. No, so some things work, some things don't. It was still an awesome attempt at having fun with cool people here. And you know what? It was worth every moment of it. So today is our last episode, and we have one topic, and it's a complicated one too. But today's topic is the pros and cons of social media, good or bad, and we get to discuss this. And without getting political, that's an important thing. And there's a lot of weird things going on in today's news. We're not going to talk about any of that. That gets way too controversial. And of course, this show is G-rated, so we'll keep it interesting and we'll keep it geek and not political. So so it's more going to be a focus on a person's daily life and how social media affects it in a good way or a bad way or both, and I think that pretty much puts the question out there, or at least the topic. So for this one, I'm throwing it out there. It is now on the table.
Well, I was thinking about this when I was reminiscing back to high school, and I was looking through yearbooks a couple weeks ago. And I realized that one of the big things about social media is now we actually get to keep in touch with people that we've known throughout our past. I had asked my mother, who's in her early 70s, I'm still amazed by that. We were talking about that just the other day, and I asked her, if she's been able to find any of her friends back in high school, which was 53 years ago. And she tried Googling them, and they've all just kind of disappeared. It was like, well, that's... it would be a shame to me to not be able to keep up with the people that have been my friends throughout the years. So life is so, but life flies by so quickly that you wake up one day and you don't know where, half of the people who've been friends of yours for years are at this point. So I appreciate that. So what about you, Kiefer?
I wouldn't happen to know, really. I don't really have social media. I don't have Facebook, Twitter. I have an Instagram, but that's purely just for checking dates when my club meetings are. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I watch YouTube, but that's it. I don't talk to a lot of people outside of school and such. That's one thing. I don't socialize with a lot of my friends and the kids in my school. So I guess that's something.
People are stupid.
But I don't exactly.
Yeah. Socializing's overrated. Jeez.
Exactly. That's why I'm on this show.
Yeah, right. Well, Lauren does make a good point.
You should take that as a compliment, the fact that Kiefer puts up with us.
Yeah, exactly. We're part of a very small circle.
Yeah, exactly.
But Lauren does make a good point, and that's been one of my biggest not rants, but my justifications of social media over the years, because, a lot of people especially older generations are like, oh, you kids and your social media, and people, and back in our days used to actually talk to each other face to face and learn social skills, which is true. There are dark sides to social media, but the positive side is I've been able to connect with so many people that I would have never connected with over the years. And, they would have been lost, and some of them, you'll run into people who are like, great, it's this person, because they're part of a different niche, didn't really like your niche, and they're like, okay, whatever, but there's so many other people that flip out going, oh my gosh, it's you, and now you have a renewed friendship again going, and if it wasn't for social media, that, it's like, what are you going to look them up in the phone book? What if they don't live in Vegas anymore or wherever you come from? It used to be so much more complicated than that. So social media has there's such a heavy importance to it in terms of bringing people together.
Yeah.
So I think the downside of it is just it comes down to how much time people spend, and it's a lot of those obsessive type personalities that allow social media to take them over, and or it could also create a bad name for them because now you have employers and everything that are just monitoring social media to get a better idea of what someone's personality was, where all of that used to be secretive back in the day. And it was a mystery, and now they can just spy on you, assuming that you have your profiles open to the public. There's a lot of stuff that can happen on social media, and it's putting yourself out there to the whole world. So there's a lot of good, but there's also a lot of potential for bad, especially for people who can't stop doing this all the time. Yeah. So I'm on Twitter. Hold on. So I mean,
it has definitely caused a major focus issue in a lot of people.
Yeah. I feel bad for Japan, who already had social issues in certain cases. Such a wonderful country, but for some reason they have an increased level of introvertedness. And that could be bad, from friendships to relationships out there, So now with that social media and AI and virtual girlfriends and stuff like that, which we won't get into, I mean, they're screwed. but the rest of the world, it's just like, yeah, they happen to be affected by all of this in just the normal average way, and it does play a toll or take a toll on someone's daily life and socialization skills.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Robert?
With everything else, as I've gotten older, everything's in moderation through social media. I've connected to Tundra car clubs, Hot Wheel clubs. I've met 2 cool friends in England because of social media. So that's cool.
You should give them a shout out.
That's okay.
It's your the last show, last opportunity to be like, hey, shout out to blah, blah, blah in England and yada, yada in England. 2 awesome people. Or not. See, that's now you guys know what you mean to him. Never mind.
Right. So, with that being said, no, social media is cute. If something was to happen, someone will let me know. And there's times when I like to just unplug. After looking at the computer screen or everything else, I like to go to bed, click on my SiriusXM, listen to some music, and just relax. If something really earth-shattering happens, somebody in my inner circle will call me or text me or email me, hey, check this out. And the best thing about social media is YouTube. Like, I don't need to see it live. I'll just type in YouTube and watch it again. So for me, just moderation. I like it. I use it to my benefit, but I know when to just shut it off and just, I don't know, enjoy some music or just even go for a drive.
You have a lot of faith in humanity there for communication skills. Because I find that even with social media and everything else where it's just like you could just sneeze to notify like everybody in the world all at once, people still have situations where they go, oh, crap, I forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah. No, I have my sisters and everything as they tell me. And like I said, I'll find out one way or another. So I'm good. And if it's not that earth-shattering that's going to affect my life, then I really need to know about it.
I do got to admit that there was a time where I spent myself way too much time on things like Facebook, like way too much time, where every day I had to check to see what was updated in everybody's lives, what's everybody doing. And eventually I realized that it's just like, you know what? Who cares? I mean, I do care. But wow, I am spending way too much time on Facebook, and I eventually just banned myself from it for quite a while. And even though I was still there and interacting, I would only respond if somebody messaged me, or commented and used my name in there, attached me to the comment. And beyond that, it's like people are like, hey, did you see such and such? Oh, I don't read the wall anymore. And I still don't really spend the time, which has been actually nice. There's a point where Facebook updated their algorithms or at least their features, where it just automatically displays what they think is popular and not necessarily up to date. So you're getting posts from like 4 days or a week ago as like top of your timeline, and things that people just recently posted you're not seeing, and you may not see for days or at all. And you have to manually, every time, you can't just set it as a default. Every time you go into Facebook, you got to go up and choose, okay, no, I want to see the most recent posts. And you got to do that every time. That's a pain. And for me, when I, in the beginning, I'm like, this kind of stinks. I don't want to keep doing this all the time. So I realized, you know what? Who cares? It just means I won't pay any attention. I will continue to not pay attention to this timeline. Once in a while, I'll click on it and view around and whatever. Maybe I'll see something, maybe I won't. But you know what? I'm not going to go out of my way because the system stinks. And it gets to be such a pain in the butt to just get to any of this information. My only caveat is professional use. When it comes to business and my job, I have to spend a lot of time on social media on that side of things, and there's no escaping that. And I wish I could, but there is none. On the personal side, though, I do a pretty good job. I do have a personal Twitter, and I almost never use it. I use it to enter contests and stupid stuff like that, but maybe I'll rant about something for no reason whatsoever, just to rant and say, hey, look, I tweeted about something. Target. But, I mean, personally wise, I've tried to disconnect myself as much as possible. So Kiefer's got the right idea here. He has no social media for the most part, which is unique for his generation, because with the new kids, they're born into social media. And that's an interesting thing to talk about. It's like, how do you think that really affects somebody's social skills and personality when they're born into the world, this digital world of social media, where they never have to leave the house? Everything's at their fingertips. So it's all about video games and Facebook at this point, Twitter and Instagram and WeChat and WhatsApp and all of these other options that they're just surrounded with, and they have an unlimited supply. It's kind of excessive. It's kind of cool to see somebody in that generation that goes, I don't do any of it. That's cool, because that keeps you connected with the real world, and not everything in the digital world. Which does take us back to things like, like Ready Player One and stuff like that. It's like, something like that would be so cool to just jump and escape into VR. But how? I mean, it's got to be a moment where it's like, okay, enough is enough. People are abusing it. They're no longer seeing, interacting with the real world anymore. And social media is technically there. I mean, it's not technically, it is there. I mean, social media is the oasis from Ready Player One. So Kiefer is the one running around as everybody else is sitting at home going on their VR helmets, and he's going to the store going, hey, I got the whole world to myself.
I don't go out much either. That's another issue.
That too. There's this stupid world. Stupid people, stupid world. It's just so secure and comfortable in the house.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of people in Kiefer's generation that, it's like they have zero social skills because of social media, because they don't know how to interact with another human being without hiding behind something to do it, and being able to take the time to form their words, to be able to just spit them out and be able to communicate with somebody without looking at their feet is, that can become an issue now with the newer generation. So social media can get really dangerous. Despite being so useful, it must be, I think it's just something that should be taught in schools or something. Maybe it's just educating kids on time management and how to, as Robert puts it, do everything in moderation. And, because people just don't understand moderation. Everybody becomes so obsessive about things, and they don't know when to stop and walk away. It's like all those people out there playing World of Warcraft. Sorry, guys, but I'm throwing you under the bus. Or the Final Fantasy Online games, where it's just like, yeah, they're on 18 hours straight. Who needs sleep? Like, really? Why don't you go hang out with your friends instead? Go to a bar or a restaurant or something and go laugh and have jokes and communicate. Travel somewhere, see the world. It's beautiful.
That would be a good idea if there wasn't a pandemic, but yeah.
True. Stupid pandemic is making it worse. Stupid COVID. Oh man, that's true. You actually have a good point there, because the COVID actually pushes people onto social media and it really adds to that addiction that everybody develops over stuff like that. So
it's also there have also been studies that have proven that too much screen time can cause depression.
Yes.
And right now, the last thing that anybody needs is something else that can cause depression. Yep. So read a book, build something, use your hands, fix something, do something. You can even go hiking safely. Yeah.
Lauren's like building her own, like building a house within a house, for crying out loud. I mean, she's going to town with all of this free time. You're doing a good job. I'm saying she's like, she's not right there. It's you're doing a good job. You're kicking butt and all that.
Thank you.
But that's a perfect example and a good point. You know, depression is an after effect of social media and online screen time. Just playing around with the computer at all for too long, it does get depressing and it gets draining too. And that adds to it. You know, it's just the light of a monitor just hitting your face direct on like that. It's very draining. Very draining. It causes a lot of pressure in the eyes and everything like that, and then that has an effect with your mental state of being everywhere else. I don't want to sound like one of those, you know, holistic get help coaches or anything, but but
It's true.
it is.
I mean, it's been proven time and again. It's absolutely true. It also changes how the mind functions, which,
Yep.
you know, is focus issues and very short attention spans. Like, you know, it's an addiction. I heard something recently about basically it's an addiction to likes. You type something in and then you receive a like or whatever on Facebook. It's that, you know, immediate, you know, rush of endorphins.
Yep.
But over a period of time, that can really affect how your brain works, especially younger brains.
Yes.
Developing.
Causes developmental issues on top of it all. That's unfortunate. Not for Kiefer, though. Not for Kiefer.
I'm pretty sure that, you know, Kiefer's doing a pretty good job with it. And I'd imagine he gets that probably from his parents. So, yeah.
I don't need to develop antisocial skills. I already have them.
All natural. All he has to do is just stick to default mode, and nothing needs to be applied. No mods needed here. Well, that's Robert right there. Robert is like the 50-year-old version of that.
What are you trying to say?
Antisocial, hides indoors, doesn't need to deal with any of that crap. Social media.
Antisocial. I like going out when I feel like going out. I like being by myself, and I like being by myself.
Absolutely.
Okay.
How people interpret it, that's still their own opinion. And you know how I feel about opinions.
No, he cares not about your opinions.
Oh, everyone has one. I'm just saying. I am living my life, and I'm happy, whether that be by myself or with people that I want to be around.
All right, more power to you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I am too old to be changing now.
Right. Screw you guys. I'm going home to read a comic book. Yeah. So much more entertaining than you. At least it's reliable. You always know. There's always going to be something on the next page to keep you interested. But, well, there you got it. There you go. I think we've covered it then. I mean, social media, good and bad. It's not just good or bad. It's good and bad. It's moderation, really. That's the magic word. We'll take Robert's word for that one. Moderation. Oh, for the love of God, please use moderation. And remember that the real world exists. This will be even more so important when things like the Oasis does happen and show up in the world. When people are able to escape into VR worlds that are actually fully immersive and everything like that. If we don't learn how to control these addictions and apply moderation to all of this, we are screwed. Because when that time comes, no one's going to leave their homes. So there you go. It's good and it's bad. But it doesn't mean stop. It just means moderate yourself. So that's it. The final episode of the Geek Out is here. This is episode number 16. We are done. We have covered it, and I think we've made some good points. Still feel free to use the comments down below and discuss this if you want. If you have any other opinions about social media, love, hate, or both, definitely share your thoughts. And I'd say definitely give us more ideas of things to come or anything like that. But, you know, it's the last episode, so woohoo! Oh! So that's it. So definitely subscribe anyways, because there is other stuff in there, you know, the cows and things and all that other stuff that exists in the world, and follow us. And hey, you never know. Enough subscribers, you know, follow us and they see these videos a year from now, a month from now, and they all start commenting going, why don't you guys bring this back? Maybe it's, you know, hit or miss during this time, but definitely, you know, a miss here and a hit later. definitely share your thoughts. Let us know, and maybe we'll bring this show back someday. Always open to stuff like that. So comment, subscribe. We all love you, and I love all of you guys. You guys are awesome, Lauren and Robert and Kiefer. We got no Tiffany or anybody in the middle this time around, but they're loved as well and appreciated as a person. Everybody rocks. And your moderation time is up if you're watching this video. That means go turn off your computer and go enjoy the real world. So, bye, guys.
Bye.
Jazz hands.